Alright, hey everyone. So I'm Elastifa, and I am cooking ever so slowly through the Final Fantasy XIV cookbook. And hopefully the audio is okay. I've been having a lot of issues with like, where am I going to put my audio sources? What am I going to do with all my cameras? I might have figured it out, and I might not have. So I might have to make some changes on the fly. Anyway, so today we are making apple strudel, which on the face of it I thought was going to be a reasonably simple dessert, in that it's really just buy pre-made puff pastry, buy some apples, and then, stew apples, put in pastry, bake. But then it occurred to me that I've never actually done anything with puff pastry in my life, and it's notoriously fickle. Sorry, just getting the stickers off of my apples here. It's notoriously fickle and easy to break, and I've never worked with it before, so I have absolutely no idea what to do with it. It starts apparently in a solid frozen brick of pastry dough, and I'm apparently supposed to just let it gently thaw until it is pliant, but not too pliant. So it's just going to sit here until I'm ready to deal with it, and hopefully not a huge amount of time, because if it gets too soft I need to put it back in the fridge. Yeah. So that's the adventure so far. We're off to an excellent start. But I'm hoping the rest of this will be pretty straightforward. Alright, so let's get into this. I think what I need to do is I need to core these. They need to be peeled, cored, and diced. Oh shoot, peeled. I probably should have started on that beforehand though. Squeak. One of these days I will actually finally deal with the fact that drawer squeaks. It did not annoy me nearly as much until I started streaming, and now suddenly it's a pain in the butt. Anyway, we're going to do this real quick. So this is, I think it's 3 extremely boring, but this is a Honeycrisp, I think. A Honeycrisp apple, and the other 2 are Granny Smith. Yeah, so all extremely common apples, easy enough to get. I think the cookbook just says you need 3 golden apples, or two golden apples and whatever a Honeycrisp counts as. And this is, and then I'm gonna fling it into the sink. So that's just how I go. Anyway, we're going to peel these things. Hi, Ray! I don't know what I'm doing again! I'm going to get a cutting board out, because eventually I'm going to need to cut these things. Alright, so I am just peeling apples real quick, which I should have done off stream, but it's fine. I've got time to burn. Because this is not an extremely complex recipe, and if I play it right and everything goes well, at the very end of this stream I'm going to have like 25 minutes while it's cooking, and I'm not going to have any idea what to do. So I haven't planned out today very well. Alright, so this is a Granny Smith. This is another Granny Smith, and that'll be it. It's just three apples that somehow are going to fill 2 pastries, which seems like a lot of pastry for not very many apples. Could be that I am deeply underestimating how far an apple goes, but I guess we'll see. Alright. So unfortunately I do not have a sink cam, because that would be exciting. And also our sink looks like garbage. So nobody gets to watch the exciting adventures of me hastily peeling some apples. Hi, Emerald! Alright. This is actually a little dangerous. Alright, let's move the puff pastry somewhere else for a moment, because I don't want to crowd it. It's delicate. especially as it starts to thaw. So let's put this out of the way while we dice these things, or core them more accurately. Okay. Thankfully, I helped Emerald with some, oop, that was a little close, with some apple-related desserts earlier this year, so I actually kind of know. Okay, he's running down. Maybe I'm messing something up. All right, he's not. Never mind. I am butchering these apples. Anyway, just need to core these. I've never really did that much with apples before this, but he really likes apple strudels and stuff like that. So he went through a brief phase where he was making a bunch of apple desserts. I think I cut this one a little close. Get out of there, seeds and core. What are you doing? I'm streaming, Emerald. All right, peeled, cored, and diced. All right, so these are like in little chunks. I'm just gonna leave them as just like medium-sized chunks. And I should get a bowl to put these in. So what I think I'm gonna do, I know I'm streaming, I chatted in your stream. Yes, you did, but then you came down. So I briefly thought that I had done something horrifying to the apples, and you were like, no, Ellie, no, don't do that. All right, sorry. Cut these all way too close to the core, so I had a sense that I was messing it up. That'll teach you. I know, yeah. All right, one apple down. Gonna be more careful with this one. Yeah. And of course, while I'm sitting here like cutting something extremely slippery, I always remember that anime that told us to use the cat's paw. You know, Nico Note, hold your fingers back, don't, yes, cats, they're like, don't cut off your fingers, you know, use the cat paw like this so that you can cut and do it. But no, of course, I always live dangerously. Oh, but I'll do it now, no, thinking about it. Wouldn't do to lose my fingers on stream. Nico Note. Alright, you actually get more out of an apple than I mentally thought. This recipe takes 3 apples and makes 2 pastries. And I was just like, that's so much pastry. Surely I need more apple than that. But no, apparently they go reasonably far. I'm using a little bit more of the apple than I should there, but whatever. Alright, so we are going to stew these with some sugar and some nice stuff and some herbs. And then we are going to put them in the puff pastry if I can manage to work the puff pastry without destroying it, which is a very big question mark. And I mean, I do a lot of baking. I love baking. I make so many sweets. Yet I have never in my life ever needed to use a puff pastry for absolutely anything. So all I know is that they're finicky. And I have a high chance of ruining it. All right, so here we have apples. Let's see. All right, so in a bowl, which is what we have here, thankfully, huh? Let's see. Combine apples, lemon juice, birch syrup. All right, there's our lemon juice. And here's some birch syrup. All right, so I don't know if birch syrup is one of those ingredients that she put in just because it's in Final Fantasy. There's a few places in this cookbook where she does that, where she's like, you know, I open this stupid thing, come on. Where she's like, the only reason that you need to use, you know, oat milk is because in Final Fantasy XIV, when you make this recipe, you literally have to go out and gather oat milk, and that's literally the only reason that it's in this recipe. And often you can substitute them with more common ingredients. So this one uses birch syrup, and I would suspect that in most cases you can probably just use maple syrup, but birch syrup does have a different taste. So I went out and splurged on the world's tiniest little 2-ounce bottles, the little baby thing. But what I didn't, you know, what's good to know is that if you want to decide between birch syrup and maple syrup, birch syrup is incredibly expensive, like absurdly expensive. Apparently, it takes many, many times more birch sap to make syrup than it does maple, and birch trees do not produce as much sap. So it is extremely expensive. Like this little baby thing. This is 2 ounces. This is going to be my 2 tablespoons of this recipe. We'll use most of it. This is $7. This is $7. So anyway, TLDR, use maple syrup unless you're really going for the authentic experience. And for me, I'm going authentic for you guys. I'm doing it. I'm making the sacrifice. All right, so 1 tablespoon lemon juice, 2 tablespoons birch syrup, all right, let's see what this stuff smells like. Oh, I gotta take the top off. Oh, whoa. Oh, it's got like it smells like, vaguely like maple syrup, but it's not as sweet. It's got a more acrid smell to it. People describe it as having a raspberry-like flavor, which is, I don't know. I'm not sure. All right. So I suspect it's probably less sweet than maple. All right, so there's that. I'm going to put the cap back on this because it's extremely expensive, and there's at least one other recipe that uses it, so I might actually have enough to do that one, hopefully. We talked about it last week because that was the croissant recipe that is like, so if you did it the hard way, you do like the extreme version, the extreme croissant recipe, and then you would make the almond filling recipe, and the almond filling uses birch syrup, so. All right, let's see. Granulated sugar. How much granulated sugar? 2 tabs. 2 tablespoons granulated sugar. And then 1/4 cup white brown sugar. All right, so here's our light brown sugar. What did I use my 1/4 cup on earlier? All right. So here's our 1/4 cup of brown sugar. All right, combine lemon juice, birch, granulated sugar, brown sugar, vanilla seeds. Oh, and basically everything. All right. I did not get a big enough bowl. I even have a bigger bowl, but it's kind of absurdly large, so I was like, oh, I can probably fit 3 apples in the second largest bowl. I was wrong. I was very wrong. Let's get the bigger bowl. We'll just do more dishes tonight. Why not? Get all of this in here because that's got that precious birch syrup. Too expensive to waste just because I'm transferring bowls. Definitely smells weird though. Wow. All right, not the best place for that spoon. All right, what was it? Oh, I need to scrape a vanilla bean. So here is the other reason this recipe is surprisingly expensive. So it requires an actual full vanilla bean. So here's the little thing. One vanilla, isn't this like friggin' like such a like a ripoff? They're like, hello, would you like to purchase? And it's just a whole glass tube that you put like, spices in. And they're like, would you like to buy one vanilla bean? One single vanilla bean. This is too big a knife for this. One single vanilla bean for too much money. All right. Come on, bean, open up. Gonna scrape your innards out. Here's another knife that I am definitely mishandling. All right. Vanilla bean seeds scraped. Yes, that is what you do with a vanilla bean. Do not have this open enough. All the vanilla is going on my fingers. It's not helpful. There. Come on. Open up, vanilla bean. And we're going to use the back side of this knife. So I very rarely work with whole vanilla beans either. I'm sure this is extremely clear from the way I'm manhandling it. I have like a notion of what I'm supposed to do with a vanilla bean. Come on, off you go. Sure, this would be horrifying for somebody who does actual pastry. The glass jar is convenient. We can refill it with stuff. All right, I won't throw it away. That is my instinct. It's basically just throw absolutely everything away. But hey, this was filled with nothing but one single vanilla bean. So I'll just put this over to the side. Sticky. Ah, gross. Inside of the vanilla beans like fibrous and sticky. All right. Okay. All right. So now we've got little bits of vanilla bean in there. Let's see. Combine vanilla seeds, cardamom, cinnamon, and cornstarch. So we gotta use these dudes. And cornstarch. Okay. All right. So I need 1/2 teaspoon ground cardamom. 1 teaspoon cinnamon. Might as well get out the right ones in there. 1 teaspoon. 2 tablespoons cornstarch. I'll have to clean this thing out again. Oh, that is one. It's the wrong one. All right. 1/2 ground cardamom. All right, so there's a cardamom. Cinnamon. Oh, I've never opened this one. I hope that I don't have another cinnamon. I looked and looked, and I could not find it. So now I'm just going to open a new one. Just continuing my habit of having 5 million different spices and duplicates of most of them. Let's see, 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon. This is too small for this teaspoon to fit in, but sure, that's a teaspoon. And 2 tablespoons cornstarch, although I'm going to have to wash this real quick. All right, just putting cornstarch directly into it, that seems very weird. 2 tablespoons? 2 tablespoons. Yeah. God, I hate cornstarch. It's such a mess. There. All right. So, let me get this all out of the way. And then put these knives away so I don't have an accident. All right, we're going to mix all this stuff together. Ooh. It has gotten juicy. Man, and that birch syrup is like really poignant. It's like not sweet. It smells like tart and they said mineral notes, which is an interesting way to describe it. This is going to taste different, unique. All right. Let us hop over to the stove, where I am going to, I'm going to turn this on really quick. I think I need to warm up 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to simmer these apples. Let's see. Add butter, add apple mixture. Cook until apples become tender, about 10 minutes. And there we go. That's basically it. That's like 90% of the recipe. So at that point, you just dump it in your pre-made puff pastry and call it a day. But that's the part I'm going to mess up, so we're going to see how it goes. All right, 2 tablespoons. I'm going to grab my iPad real quick so that if anyone chats, I can see them over here. And we're going to also test this puff pastry. Ooh, it's pliant. It's pliant. I can move it. Wow. Wow, okay. Puff pastry is kind of small. That's why this makes 2. They're little bitty. Also, I should put this on a plate and then put it in the fridge because it's going to have to wait 10 more minutes. Off you go, little puff pastry. Ah, fridge so full. Oh no, it's a disaster. Where are you going to go? You right there. Take you out in 10 minutes. It'll be fine. guess now I'll use this spatula. All right. In they go. Yeah. I lost one. I lost an apple. All right. Oh, I lost like 3 apples. Shoot. All right, we're gonna get rid of these real quick so I don't set anything on fire back here. Come on, out you go. Chopsticks are helpful for this. Wow, they sure are. Except they're slippery. All right. I do not know how I ever survived without chopsticks in the kitchen. All right, we are going to move this to the back burner, though. There. We are going to put this on the softer burner. I do not think that these could survive 10 minutes in the hot burner. All right. 10 minutes. We're going to scooch this. Can I see a little bit more of it? There. You can see him back there. There, I'm going to turn it the handle the way I like it. There. So we're just going to let this soften. I'm just going to go in there for a while. Okay. And move all these over. I don't think I need anything else, except I am going to make an egg wash. But that's simple. I don't need my measuring cups for that. Oh, I need to refrigerate the birch syrup now. Clean it off first, though. Anyway, this is going to be a recipe with a bit of downtime. I never really know how to do some of these. Like, there's a few recipes that have so much downtime that in order to even feasibly do a stream where I made it and then got to the point where I could eat it, I would have to like stream for 5 hours. And maybe one of these days I'll do that. Maybe one of these days I'll just find a way to set up the computer so that I can switch between the stove and Final Fantasy upstairs. And then just be like, all right, now we're gonna go off and raid while the stew finishes. But until then, I'm going to continue trying to do the recipes that I can feasibly do within like a couple hours on stream. Get the spices out of the way. Right. How are you doing, apples? Ooh. That syrup is thick. Or it is thickening. Which makes sense. There's cornstarch in there. And heat. And sugars. We're going to turn this down a little bit, though. Looks like it might be... I could see that burning. It's not, but it could. But they said medium-high heat. So what do I know? Well, leave it at medium then, and just stir it more. All right. Ahem. So, Apple Strudel hails from Britannia, from the Black Shroud. Sorry, I'm hearing it boiling, so I was like, not boiling. Making noise. Ahem. So this one, the foreword is written by the Mughal, whose name I think is Moghan. I don't know. It's very important information. Let's see. We found a large tavern in the middle of the South Shroud called Buscaron Struthers. Oh yeah, you do it right across there. They had all sorts of food and drink from the area. But we've been walking all day, and I kept seeing apple trees everywhere I went. So I asked if they had something with apples in it. Sitting outside in the shade, enjoying the sounds of birds, and a fresh apple strudel delivered to the table, no better way to enjoy an apple for me, Kupo. And then there's a little note from the Namazu saying that if golden apples are unavailable, use any Carter apple variety that you've harvested. Just make sure to use 3 of them. So, yeah. We were able to get all 3 types of apples that this one called for, so I didn't have to do any substitutions, which is good because I live in a place where there are a lot of apples available, and I would have very little knowledge of like what I can like replace with what. There's an apple orchard nearby that always has like a dozen types of apples available, and they have like all these charts about like you can use them in this style of recipe, you know, things like ones that are good for eating and baking and ones that are good for you know, they just have all sorts of tests in there, and we've experimented with a bunch, and it's fun and they're delicious, but it's also like a challenge because I don't want to buy a bunch of fancy local apples and then destroy them. Anyway, this is nice. It's thickening up prettily. Getting very sticky. Alright. So after this, we're going to get out the puff pastry. Transfer the apples into a fine mesh strainer and drain the liquid. Transfer the apples to a bowl and let cool completely. Let cool completely. I did not figure that time in. I guess I'll figure it out. Let's see, then you get puff pastry. Put half the filling on the pastry, and then we have to do fancy pants braids. Which, like, that's not like the hardest part. I've actually done recipes somewhat like that in the past. The question is just whether I will destroy the puff pastry in the process. So, anyway, adventures. Adventures and desserts. It's weird because desserts are legitimately my favorite type of food to make. And so typically, when I go through a cookbook like this, that's all that, I'm like, I want to do all the desserts. And then, like, all the breakfast foods. And then everything else is just like, suppose I can be coerced. But I've been trying to space out, and I've actually done, like, almost no recipes. I think I've done, or almost no dessert recipes. I think the only one I've done so far is the princess pudding, which was fantastic. I loved it. Let's see. I need to put it back in a bowl. Should I put it back in this bowl? This bowl is a mess. Alright. I'll just wipe this bowl down real quick. And then get out a strainer, because that's what I'm going to have to do. Anyway, I've made very few of the desserts in this book. I would like to do more. I'm excited to do more. There's a few that I'm pretty excited about. Just have to get around to doing it. Which strainer? Do the nice strainer. I suspect a normal human being does not have a selection of strainers to choose from. Alright, we're getting close, which is fair. We've got 1 more minute left on this timer. These guys look syrupy and delicious. Hopefully the chunks aren't too big. I do have pretty large chunks of apple. All right, we are about done. I'm going to turn this off. So we've got like 11 seconds left there. Just stir this a little bit more. All right. Let us transfer this. Gonna dump this into the strainer. Come on, out you go. This really heavy bowl. Very hard to hold with a single hand. I love this saucepan though. The saucepan's amazing. Okay, that syrup is pretty lovely. Alright, let's come back over here. Alright, so let me double check this real quick just to make sure I'm... Alright. Transfer to a fine mesh strainer. Oh, that was not a fine strainer. Oh well, it wouldn't fit in my fine mesh strainer. So it's getting that one. We're just going to deal with it. Drain the liquid, transfer to a bowl, and I mean, it's fine. Transfer to a bowl and let cool completely. All right, in you go. Feel like I probably did that incorrectly. This point of that step was probably to remove some of the syrup. But why? Why would you do that? In any case, I did not... I did not strain anything, so I probably could have skipped that step. And I don't know what I was supposed to drain off on this anyway, because it's very thick. There's nothing like runny or liquidy in this bowl of stuff right here, so I don't know what I would actually need to drain off. But I do need to let it cool a little bit before I dump it into the puff pastry. So what am I going to do? I have a lot of downtime in this recipe. I'm going to drink some water. I am going to set up in the meantime though. Bring my mat back over. Oh hey, this is frozen, hasn't it? There we go. Let's fix this real quick. Come on. There we go. Alright, so So we will scooch this up a bit. There. What are we gonna do? I think we're gonna. I know I need to make an egg wash in the next step, so I'm gonna see. Is this an egg, a whole egg, or is it part of an egg? Whisk together egg and water. Sweet. All right, whole egg. Don't know if I need to make it necessarily immediately, but I'll get everything out so that I can at least just do it when I get to that point. 1 tablespoon of water. Oh, I already tossed my tablespoon. Do I have another tablespoon? I think I do. Yeah, but then I'd have to wash all of it. No, it's just water. Whatever. I can. Good job, me. I'm like, I don't need to make the egg wash, and then I'm like, I'm bored. I'm making the egg wash. Alright, that's 1 tablespoon of water. Alright. We'll just let this dry, because all it was used for was water. Alright. Egg wash. Delicious apples. Alright, should I just go ahead? Should I? Let's read the instructions first. Be prepared. Read twice, cook once. It's not a good use of that metaphor at all. Alright, unfold puff pastry on parchment paper. Don't have parchment paper over here. What do I need the parchment paper for? Alright, place half of the filling in the center third. Use a sharp knife, cut the stripe. Okay, using a sharp knife, cut 8 horizontal strips on the edges of the outer thirds of the pastry. Cross the strips over. Repeat until strips are crossed and the filling is sealed. Trim off any excess dough, and then, yes. And then I'll have to transfer it to a. Yes, all right, there we go. All right, so this is not technically difficult. As long as I don't destroy this puff pastry. And again, I have no experience with puff pastry, so destroying it is an extremely possible outcome. All right, so I'm going to fill the inner third, which is really not that much. This is very small. So that's probably why you only need like half of this to fill 1 puff pastry. Because really, even a few spoonfuls of this is like, it already looks pretty crowded. And I did not thaw the other puff pastry, so because I figured it would probably be more delicious to make it fresh if this turns out well, or I can apply anything I learn from this one to the next time I make it. Because if you just make 2 pastries at once, like what the heck are you going to do with 2 pastries at once? You can only eat one of them at a time. Alright, this is more full than I would make it, but this is definitely not half of the mixture. I'm like, I want more filling. Or it says to use half of it, so actually we'll say that's about half. Okay. Of course I used my perfect little itty bitty knife on the vanilla bean. Clean this real quick. Okay. get myself dip my arm in the water real quick, apparently. All right. All right. 8 horizontal strips on the edges of the outer thirds. All right, so if I do middle, and then there's 4 and 4. All right, so this is about the middle of the puff pastry. Should probably have put this on the cutting board. That would have been smart, wouldn't it? So, and then like, do right in the middle here. 2. So that's 4. And do this right in the middle. Use the not serrated side because these technically should not cut. That doesn't work though. Should not technically not cut onto this baking mat, so that was not a smart choice of mine. All right. So we cut them in half. And then this needs to be 4 and 4, so here's right in the middle. And here's 2 and 2. And then we'll cut here. And we have 2 and 2. Now we have 8 on either side. All right, then I have to braid it. Can I braid it sensibly? Probably not. All right, left and then right. Left and then right. Left and then right. Crossing it. Oh no, I'm already gonna lose some. It's pretty full. Oh, might I be able to close this? Maybe, mostly. Somewhat. All right, let's try like not quite so sharp a turn here. Do I have to seal it, or do I just like spread this out a bit more? Here we go. All right. This is absolutely going to explode in the oven, isn't this? Trim off any excess dough. No, I don't think I have any of that. All right. This is mostly contained. I don't know if I trust it to not explode in the oven, so maybe it will. Maybe that will be my experience. This will be my learning opportunity, is not blowing it up in the oven. All right. All right. Fingers crossed. So I'm going to take the giant spatula. Oh yeah, that's going to be the challenge, isn't it? Getting this off the freaking... There we go. Woo! Woo! Adventures! It already popped open a bit. I've made these before though, or not, I've made things I've had to braid before like this, and like, first off, my braiding sucks. I like cross it like this here. Need more structural crossing for the stability of this thing. There. This is not going to be the prettiest thing I've ever made in my life. Where's my egg wash? I need a brush. Alright. Brush with egg wash. Alright. Is this egg going to seal you shut? That would be great. Because I absolutely feel like this is going to explode in the oven. That said, the puff pastry has not been extremely difficult to work with. You know, and conceptually, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, whenever I can, the instructions are like, go and buy something from the frozen aisle and use it instead of making it, you know, the pastry yourself. That's like simpler. You'd be like, oh yes, this is the easy way to do it. I'm just intimidated by puff pastry because I've never had to do it before. All right. And this is very egg washed. All right. All right, so in the oven it goes. 20 minutes? 25 to 30 minutes. All right. 25 minutes. And what I'm going to do with the rest of you apples? See, definitely seems like more than I put in the first one. So what I will probably do is I'm probably going to keep this and like put it in the fridge and hope that I can keep that. And then what I'll do is once we finish the first pastry, then we can go and make the next one. And if this one explodes, then I'll have learned what not to do with puff pastry, maybe, possibly. We'll see. We'll see what I'll actually learn from this. All right, anyway. I'm gonna like clean my hands off real quick. Covered with pastry and syrups. All right. So yeah, I have nothing to do for 23 minutes. Hello viewers. We're just gonna have a nice little talk about something until then. Or I'll do the dishes, you know, whatever happens most naturally. I'm gonna leave this out because I will need to. I'm definitely going to get some water in this pan full of like apple syrup because that looks like it's gonna harden into like harden rock solid. You definitely do not want to have to clean that later or make it harder to clean that later. Lila's being cute. Lila's not being cute here though. She was also a little swipey. Oh, Lila. With our cat Lila, the urge to be cute and the urge to be a complete butt are a constant war. She does not know which one to do, so she does both simultaneously. But let's see. So what are we going to do next week? So I've been enjoying this so far. It's been fun. Most of the recipes have been completely fine. They've gone from either like average to really good. So there's not really been anything in here so far that I've tried that I've much hated. There have been some that had like unexpected flavors. In fact, most of them have unexpected flavors. I think that's probably why you get this and not, you know, like if you, sorry, it's getting very windy outside. Of course, if you just got like the Final Fantasy official cookbook and it turned out that everything was just like extremely boring and standard, you'd probably, you know, find it a little drab. So it's not surprising that so many of the recipes use really unusual. Oh, I've got. Wait, is this coming from the stove audio? Let me double check real quick. Yeah, all right. I have audio from 2 different places. Let's fix this real quick. All right, there. Now we have laptop audio. All right, yes. So the camera that I use for the overhead is has been kind of finicky lately. So I And apparently when I did the audio with it, it's been like stammering a little bit. So I changed the audio source so that it's coming from the computer now, instead of back there, because back there, like, you can hear me just fine, but I'll see it sound distant. Anyway, so I was talking about this. So everything we've tried so far has had a little, like, some interesting flavors that you wouldn't expect. Like we made the battered fish last week, and it had cumin in the fish batter. So like it was beer battered fish essentially, and there was cumin and turmeric in like mixed in with like the flour and the beer. I didn't think it was that noticeable. You could definitely tell it was there, and so it was like a faint flavor. Emerald tried it and thought it was really strong on the first day, so it was like, you know, the opinion was, oh, it's good, the batter's really fluffy and it fried up really well, but he was like, I would have liked it more without the cumin. So there was also, I feel like there was some unusual flavors. I did the fried pork too, the fried okeanos. What was in that one? There was something unexpected in there too. Let's see, what was that? Pizza was pretty straightforward. Pizza was very pizza. Okay, the fried okeanos had, oh, fish sauce, yeah. So it's like fried pork, but it had garlic powder, fish sauce in it, yeah. And like garlic powder is not unusual, but like fish sauce, yeah. So you could taste it. It was like a little weird. So on one hand, I mean, it's interesting because if you just want to do a familiar seeming recipe, but with like maybe a flavor profile that you're not used to, then there's some interesting stuff in here where you can be like, throw in something unexpected. And you're like, cool, that turned out nice, or maybe not nice, or I'd leave it out next time. But yeah, that's basically what I've noticed so far. There's a lot of stuff like that. I do not know what to try next week, though. I've done a lot of breakfast streams lately, even though I really want to do these lemon waffles. And I know what day I'm going to do the English muffins already. That's mid-April. But I need to get there. Oh, excuse me. You're going to feed the cats?
Would you like to feed the cats?
I could feed the cats. I've got nothing to do for 20 minutes until this thing cooks. Alright, so the little swipey girl. Lila, you want to come on stream? That's the price.
You can move your camera and give her cat
That's
noms.
the price of
Cat noms stream.
Oh yeah, I'm not using that camera, so we can watch her eat. That said, Lila has some long-term like health issues. She's okay. She's got some kidney issues, so she doesn't eat extremely well. So we're probably going to put this down. She's going to be real excited for food. She's going to eat like one bite and leave. But she eats, that's kind of how she eats these days. She eats like one bite and leaves, and then comes back 5 minutes later and eats one bite. And then comes back and like eats a few kibble. So she'll eat enough. It's just I don't know how interesting cat cam's going to be. So I guess we'll find out. I guess we shall just... We'll also see if her brother appears out of nowhere, because he can hear. He can hear the second we put down the plates. Should put down, like, let's watch me make food for Lila. This is top tier content here.
Hi, Mimi.
Hey, Mimi's here. All right, we're just gonna give her a little scoop. Then that'll take her all evening to get through this.
You want this camera? This camera should go over there.
You can set up cat cam. I'll get the other bowl
I don't even know
for Lum Lum.
if I can switch to it or not.
You can't see?
I can't. I haven't.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to like see if we can actually see. Oh no, he needs a new can of food. Excuse me, could you please help? Excellent. Thank you. He'll get 1/3 of a can of Fancy Feast. food. Lila, did you just look at your food and then just walk away? I was not measuring this. I was not paying attention. Hey, Nomi. Look at the hunger in this cat's eyes. Look at how desperately he's looking at this fancy feast. All right, let's go to cat camp. All right, there's Lila's. All right, Louie, we need to separate you two. All right, so Louie eats over here. Lila's going to try to eat his food. Lila, there you go. Like, no. Lila.
He wants his food really badly.
I know, she wants his food real bad. Cat cam! Cat cam! Lila, go eat your food! She's upstairs harassing Emerald, begging for food. He comes down, gives her food, and what does she do? He just marches off. She's like, thank you. All I wanted was you to put the food down. Didn't actually want to eat it or anything. Has my thing exploded? No, it's fine. It looks good so far. Hang in there. Hang in there, Apple Strudel. Cat is eating. Oh, and here's Lila trying to encourage him to leave his food. Blow by blow. This is how we'll fill our time. Up, she is harassed him. He's going to go for the kidney food. Nope. No kidney food for you, Lily. That stuff's expensive. There's Lila eating the fancy feast. Actually, I'll give her some options. So she has the kibble, the kidney food, and the fancy feast. Oh, she's eaten. She's eaten her food too.
Good boy.
So yeah, we have to coerce her to eat. She's a little camera shy, lol. Hey, Lila. Whoop. I don't want to get the camera too close to her because, like, you won't be able to hear me anymore. Good girl. Eat, Lila. Good girl. Good girl, Lila. Alright, I put the apples away. I don't know how long these will keep. I'm gonna imagine not extremely long or anything, but we'll have to weigh whether it is wiser to make the pastry and freeze it, or whether you save the filling and make it fresh when you want to eat it. I suppose it depends on how quickly we can eat one apple strudel. Oh, she's done! Lila's done. I hope you enjoyed our interruption to cover the cat. Right, we're gonna plug that in. I don't think I have any other use for it today, but I'm gonna put this egg wash out of the way and decide what to do with the rest of it later. Ahem. Anyway, thanks for seeing Cat Camp. Are they gone? Did they just leave? Lila? I'm going to pick up and protect her food, though. So her brother, who is completely healthy, will just loves her food. So we have to be real careful because the kidney food is extremely expensive. And we can't hear you now. Can't see you? You can't see me? Can you see me? Really? Can you hear me? All right, great. Hi. Excellent. Didn't know what was going up with that. All right, yeah, hi. You left camera and now you're back. All right, excellent. I don't know what happened. It looked normal on my side. I'm gonna bring this, my iPad over so I can double check that everything's looking right on the stream. All right. I'm a little quiet. Okay, yeah. It's coming from a different audio. All right, but that'll work. I should figure out what, actually no, let me double check again. Has it exploded? Oh, it has not exploded. It has done the opposite. It's become rather pretty. It'll still look messy because my braiding skills are garbage, but it has not exploded and spilled its contents everywhere, and that's basically as good as you can hope for. All right, so, like I was saying, what am I going to do next week? So it could be fun to do a soup, because there is a potato leek soup that looks like something I would just make for myself anyway. Of course I love the breads. I love all the breads. I think I've made most of the breads already. And the ones that are left have weird timing issues that would make it hard to do on stream. Like bacon bread, which requires a great deal of, requires several hours. And makes 4 loaves of bread, 4 little itty bitty pull-apart loaves of bread. But yeah, it's got a lot of shape it and then let rise, shape it and then let rise. So I would probably have to do some of that ahead of time and then finish it on stream. Or I just need to figure out how to do, like, figure out how to do the, start stream and then just do 4 hours of streaming while I play Final Fantasy. I don't know. There's a lot of main dishes I can do still, though. Lots of pastas, that would be easy. 1 more fried fish, that would be easy. Roast beef takes like 5 hours. I don't know how I would do that on stream. Same with the duck. Quiche's fine, but it has a 40-minute bake time, which is kind of hard too. Anyway, I'll probably do a main dish next week. Possibly. Although the desserts, oh god, the desserts are so pretty. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I've also been trying to do the crab croquettes for several weeks, and now that I've actually figured out where I can buy crab for a reasonable price, I may actually do that soon. Which is fair because I don't think I've done any of the appetizers yet. Like 0. I've done none of them. And that's primarily because a lot of them are grill friendly, and I'm really, like, once the weather gets a little warmer, it's already almost there, but once it gets a little warmer, I am absolutely going to do an outdoor, I'm going to introduce you to my beloved, my precious, thank you for following. Oh, hey, I've got a follower. Hello. Hi, and welcome to the stream. I was just about to tell you about my beloved, the grill, the big green egg outside. It's my favorite. It's a really hardcore grill. It's wonderful. And I'm absolutely going to have to figure out how to do an outdoor stream, which I think is fine because these cameras are wireless. Yes, and then so once it's just slightly warmer, I'm going to do like all of the Mika Bobs. It's going to be glorious, but we're not there yet. It's still winter. Anyway. But yes, hello. Hello, Baked Cupcake. I have an apple strudel in the oven, and I think we have 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes to go. So I am just burning time right now, and occasionally making sure that, occasionally checking it to make sure it hasn't exploded in the oven, because I don't trust my braiding skills. Still looks good though. And it does look like it's going to be done. It says 25 to 30 minutes, but it's already pretty dark, so fingers crossed. We're pretty close. We're in the home stretch. But yes, I'm extremely excited. And there's still a lot in here I'm really excited to make. I just have to decide what I'm gonna do. And figure out when the weather's warm enough so that I can actually do a grilling stream. Anyway, we'll figure it out. I feel like there's only so much that I can, only so much space I can fill by myself though. What else can I do? I can explain what happened to the X potion. So I made the X potion. I can show the picture real quick. It was a beautiful drink. Of course, it's upside down. So I made the X potion. Don't look at the recipe. You need to buy this. And it was beautiful. But and the way that you make it was you basically had a lavender syrup. So it was a whole bunch of lavender mixed with sugar and honey and water. And then you mixed that with a citrus juice that was like basically a lemon lime juice that you mixed in with the lavender syrup water. And I stored that in my fridge, and I was drinking it very slowly because it's super sweet. It's like incredibly sugary. And what you do is you mixed it with a little bit of gin. That was what you were supposed to do at the end, is that you took some of this lemon lime juice, mixed it with gin, and then you had yourself a nice little alcoholic mixed drink. So I made that pretty early on, and I had it sitting in my fridge. It was not the alcoholic bit because it was just the lemon lime juice with sugar in it. And so as a note for somebody who is making that for themselves, if you make this, you should plan to drink it in a reasonable amount of time because, basically there's nothing in there that preserves it. So ours got separated and gross after about a month because there was no alcohol in it to keep it going for all that time. So yes, FYI, that is pretty obvious in retrospect that it was just sugar water. Sugar water doesn't keep very well. But so that was an adventure. It was basically like in the back of the fridge. And Emerald came down and was like, "So, is your X potion all right?" And I was like, "Why?" And we found it was like separated, and it was not long. It was not doing well. It had left this world. So we had to dump the rest of that, which is a shame because it was really. Thankfully, I didn't spend any money on the lavender for that. I had a friend who had some extra lavender and just gave it to us, but. Had I purchased that lavender, well, I didn't want to waste it anyway. So anyway, it was a little disappointing, but good to know in the future. And I feel like a lot of the drinks. This is one reason I haven't done very many of them. A lot of them make very large amounts, and yet I am but one person, so there's only so much I can drink. So a few of these make a couple of cups worth, with like the hot chocolate, which I've made like 10 times so far. But like the mulled wine would have been great for winter, but it takes an entire 750 milliliter bottle of wine and then mulls it, and I feel like I need a holiday party for that. I need friends. I can't do that by myself. There's only so much I can drink. There's a few in here that make more manageable amounts though, so I'll just have to find them. Alright, come on. 45 seconds. And then this thing needs to cool, which is going to be even worse. I should get a moment. little coaster. So I can actually put it down in front of the camera and we can all look at it and appreciate it while it dries. Ooh, I hear some hissing. Did something pop? Are you spilling your contents all over the floor? All right. Ooh, so pretty. So pretty. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, it is. Let's look at this. It's pretty. I mean, were I taking pictures of it like the one in the Final Fantasy cookbook, I would probably, have braided it more nicely and have it be more uniform rather than being bulgy in some places and less in the others. But okay, this is the important thing about baking, is that I'm not a professional baker, so it doesn't matter if it's beautiful. It matters if it's delicious, and really it's pretty nice looking anyway. Oh, so how exciting! It looks fine. All right, nothing really happened. The puff pastry was not particularly hard to work with in this case. It's different. I've never worked with it before, so I completely expected something to go wrong. But no, we're good. And it's not like exploded. It has puffed up prettily. Everything's really nice. Oh, we've got some gaps because my braiding sucks, but that's fine. Takes a picture. It looks okay. Yeah, okay. Looks okay. All right, I am gonna take a picture, but I feel like the real, like if I wanted to take a real aesthetic picture, I would want to like not have it be on the cooling pan. So in fact, let's get it off there anyway. I'm gonna scooch a cutting board in. And get out the world's biggest spatula. Okay, that was great. Come on. Whoop. Come on. There you go. All right. Thankfully, it's also sturdy. All right, this is a much prettier thing. Well, okay, it's not prettier. This is not a pretty cutting board. But it's nicer looking than my grody old Silpot. I have no camera skills. I can take a few nice ones though, and there. Oh, I want to eat it. How cool do you suppose it has to be? Not very? What would be a good section to start on? Like over here. I mean, it's still very hot. My instincts say I should let it cool more because, especially with like cakes and pastries, they tend to be very structurally weak while they're hot. So you want to make sure you let it cool a bit so that you can cut it without destroying it. Or at least so that your piece doesn't like crumble into smithereens once you put it on a plate. I am admittedly having a hard time resisting right now. I'm like, it looks fine, doesn't it? It looks like it could survive. This is thick pastry. Get a little fork. What do I want to cut it with? That'll like cut it nicely. I'm gonna use like the pastry knife, or not pastry, the bread knife. Oh, crunch. All right, look, nothing exploded. Ooh. That went pretty well, actually. Ooh, look at that. Of course, it's all orange, so it's a little, the contrast probably is a little hard to see on camera, but you have like the puff pastry, which is like puffed out as it should. And then you've got the apples in here. Oh, this looks lovely. This looks lovely. This looks nicer than I thought it was going to be. I don't know if it necessarily, like, take a picture of this ugly little thing. Let's see. Do this so you can see, like, the inside. That's apples. The apples are the same color as the puff pastry. So anyway, this is just, I keep promising I would take pictures for the people who are not watching the stream, but should not delay the stream much more than I need to. So, oh, it crunches so nicely. Of course, now I'm going to destroy it just because I'm not being graceful. Let's get more of an apple in this bite. Yeah, you're just gonna watch me eat this whole piece by myself in silence on stream. That's what's just gonna happen right now. Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, that's nice. The apples are definitely milder than I thought they were going to be when I added the birch syrup. So the birch syrup had a very strong smell. It did not smell like maple syrup. It had kind of like a tangy, like a more of a bitter, strong thing. Like maple syrup smells like maple and sugar. Birch syrup smelled like, like, I don't know, they say it has a strong raspberry-ish taste. And yeah, so it was very noticeable when we were mixing it. It's definitely mild by the time you actually go ahead and eat it. That you do still kind of taste it. It's got that faint sweetness to it. It's nice because it's a lot less sweet than a lot of apple crumbles that I've had. So like apple crumbles have been like super sugary, just like feels like incredibly sweet. This is very mildly sweet. So the apples are quite good. The main flavor you get is primarily the puff pastry because it's huge. Like it obviously, it's in the name, right? It puffs. It becomes very thick. So even though you had one little baby sheet of it, it just becomes very substantive by the time it bakes. So yeah, so like that's your main flavor is like puff pastry. But then you just have a very mild, slightly sweet apple, and it's quite good. And I have to say, this is pretty easy too. Because you basically just go to the store, you buy puff pastry pre-made in the frozen section, and then that's just it. Buy 3 apples, some puff pastry, and then you just like simmer the apples, put them in the pastry, and then like cook it. That's really simple. And of course you need to substitute you probably want to substitute birch syrup for maple syrup just so that you can actually make it without having to order some super premier syrup off the internet or from your local sap house. But yeah, no, this is definitely good. I would make this again. This is just very simple, pretty straightforward, and the results are pretty tasty. So this one's good. I like this one. I like this one a lot. More than the coffee biscuits, actually. I don't know how I still think I prefer the princess pudding, but the princess pudding is like pure chocolate. So chocolate is always going to win out. Anyway, so that's great. That's how it turned out. I suppose I should figure out if I'm going to raid somebody. And this part always goes really awkwardly because I never have any idea who to raid, and all the people I know and follow are not cooking people. So that makes it very hard. Let's see. Is anyone I know going? Nope, just channels that do music. I'm gonna need like I'm gonna need to make more Twitch friends. Alright. Well, Pure Nicks? Yeah, we could do Pure Nicks. They came and watched us once. Alright, let me see if I can figure it out. Pure Nicks. Doing Outer Wilds. 7 people. Alright, let's give it a try and see if I can do this without messing up. Let's see, what is he doing? Let's give some volume. Alright, so I can raid, that's great. Alright. So, thank you for coming.
Head north to the ruins on the
Thank you for watching. I am now going to need to somehow resist the urge to eat all of this because dinner time and I actually should be eating real food, but this is really good. So, thank you all for coming. Yeah, thank you for making a raid call. And thanks for coming, Ray. Hope you have an awesome evening, everyone. I should balance it out. Yeah, you gotta get the emotes right. All right, thanks for coming. Also, thank you, Nia. All right, let's go head out then. All right, thanks, everyone. Have a nice evening. Oh, rating in 9 seconds. Oh, I gotta get the timing right. Do.
Okay,
All right.
let's go back to the equator, see if I can get of interest.
All right, let's go. All right, thanks, everyone.
There we go. That's the fast way to do it. Nice. Oh god. I think I went too far. Too far. We're going for the equator.